Scientists have been working tirelessly to raise awareness about the pressing issue of climate change, and in doing so, they have encountered a significant amount of resistance from certain Christian groups. Some Christians have been skeptical about the concept of climate change, and as a result, scientists have been attempting to manipulate them into accepting the reality of this issue. This manipulation is not necessarily malicious, but rather a desperate attempt to get Christians to understand the severity of the situation and the urgent need for action. One way scientists have tried to manipulate Christians is by using biblical references to support their claims. For example, they often cite passages such as Genesis 2:15, which states that humans are to till and keep the earth, implying a responsibility to care for the planet. They also point to verses like Psalm 24:1, which says that the earth is the Lord's, suggesting that humans are stewards of the earth and must protect it. By using these biblical references, scientists hope to appeal to Christians' religious values and persuade them to take action on climate change. Another approach scientists have taken is to frame climate change as a moral issue, rather than just a scientific one. They argue that climate change is not just about polar bears and melting glaciers, but about the impact it has on human communities, particularly the poor and vulnerable. By emphasizing the moral implications of climate change, scientists hope to tap into Christians' sense of compassion and justice, and persuade them to take action to reduce their carbon footprint and support policies that address climate change. Some scientists have also attempted to partner with Christian leaders and organizations to promote climate action. For example, the Evangelical Environmental Network has worked with scientists to develop a climate change curriculum for Christian schools and churches. This curriculum aims to educate Christians about the science behind climate change and the moral imperative tact. By working with Christian leaders, scientists hope to build trust and credibility with Christian communities and to encourage them to take a more active role in addressing climate change. However, some Christians have accused scientists of using manipulative tactics to persuade them to accept the reality of climate change. For example, some have criticized scientists for using fear-mongering and alarmist language to describe the impacts of climate change. Others have accused scientists of trying to impose their own secular values on Christian communities, rather than respecting their religious beliefs and values. Despite these criticisms, many scientists believe that their attempts to manipulate Christians are necessary and justified. They argue that the stakes are too high, and the consequences of inaction too severe to worry about being perceived as manipulative. They believe that by using any means necessary to persuade Christians to take action on climate change, they can help to prevent catastrophic consequences and protect the planet for future generations. It is also worth noting that the manipulation of Christians by scientists is not a one-way street. Some Christian groups have also been accused of manipulating scientists and the public by spreading misinformation and that about climate change. For example, some Christian groups have promoted the idea that climate change is not real or that it is not caused by human activities. This misinformation can be damaging, as it can delay or prevent action on climate change, and can also undermine trust in science and scientists. In conclusion, scientists have been trying to manipulate Christians into accepting the reality of climate change by using biblical references, framing it as a moral issue, partnering with Christian leaders, and emphasizing the severity of the consequences. While some Christians have accused scientists of using manipulative tactics, many scientists believe that the efforts are necessary and justified, given the high stakes and the urgent need for action. Ultimately, the goal of scientists is not to manipulate Christians, but to persuade them to take action to address climate change and to protect the planet for future generations. By working together and respecting each other's values and beliefs, scientists and Christians could find common ground and work towards a more sustainable and equitable future.